Well, hello, you little beam of light.
Hello. It's so
Happy
good
New
to see
Year. I
you.
know we
Happy
haven't
New Year.
spoken this year yet. How are things?
Good. I would say I've been saying it's like been really like a gentle start to the year.
Yeah.
And then last week hit and my partner was away traveling. I was solo mumming. It was the Leo full moon. Emotions were high. I broke out in school sores on my arm and my nose. So I looked like freakazoid.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and school sores are like a childhood thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can catch them, but my son didn't get them. I got them.
Oh no.
The only one in my family that got them. And to have it on the nose as well, it's
Yeah.
very confronting, very confronting. And the nose is like identity, right? So it was like,
Oh, hold
and I
up.
had to show up for two ceremonies with like my nose looking like Rudolph.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really about like, okay, can you be seen in all of, in the mess? Can you be seen in
Yeah.
the mess? Like, I guess it's this South Node in Virgo as well.
Yep.
Maybe like stripping away of the perfectionism. And I know that I have that in me for sure. I had this memory of like my mum brushing my hair when I was younger and she'd put it up for school and I'd be like, Mum, it's too messy. And I'd rip it out and like, I'd be there for so long, like making sure there's no bumps in my hair.
Oh my God, I was obsessed with bumps in the hair. Like there's bumps, there's bumps.
The perfectionism.
Yeah.
I cannot have a bump. Yeah. So that
And
was
it's so
interesting.
interesting because in your work and like what you do, and many of you know Cass, but if you're not familiar with Cass, go back because there are episodes that which she really describes what she does in terms of being an amazing and very powerful space holder and ceremonialist. I can't say that word still. It's been 3 years.
Ceremonialist.
I still can't say that word.
That's okay. You don't need to.
Okay, I am not one of those. So I don't, well, maybe actually I do hold ceremonies anyway.
You do. You do. Oh,
Anyway, we don't need to be perfect. Doesn't need to be perfect for
no.
but that's the point, right? Because what you do is so like the moments are so intimate when you're in ceremony with people and you are ebbing and flowing with what is needed and what is called forth in those moments. So in many ways, none of that can be textbook perfect. It has to be messy in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And ceremony, like each and every one of them is so different, right? And that's life. It's like one day feels this way, another day feels that way. Or one ceremony feels this way, one ceremony feels that way. Yeah, it is. That's exactly right. Nailed it. Like it's not like you're reading a script and this
Yeah.
is
And this
this
is
is
what
where
happens
you go
next.
here, and this is
Yeah.
when and then I give you the healing here, and da 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 da. It's like it's completely channeled as to what's coming through for the specific people in ceremony. So, yeah.
If you've
And
not sat in ceremony, then you need to contact us and we need to harass Cass to host another online ceremony where we can sit and be held in the imperfection, in the
yeah,
mess.
yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. And it always things happen before going into certain ceremonies. And this one in particular was around the Leo full moon. So it was really about like expressing yourself where you're at, like meeting yourself where you're at and being in confident, like feeling confident to express yourself as you are. So that was kind of the theme of the two ceremonies I worked with over the weekend. And this is what it was. I mean, this is how I was being shown this. So I was embodying this
Yeah.
before walking into these ceremonies. And yeah, you got to trust that. And also from it, I went down a healing rabbit hole, but got to the core of a really big pattern that's been playing out in my life around emotional overwhelm and got
Okay.
back to the root of it. So I was able to pull that thread out, which felt really satisfying and amazing because it was a big one. And it would, yeah, there's so many moments in my life where I can think back to this pattern playing out. especially like when my partner goes away and I'm solo mumming, it's like the emotional overwhelm so intense. Like even going to the shops and getting groceries feels so intense. And it was all from my childhood, which we
Yeah,
got back
always.
to the point. Yeah, always. But yeah, that was cool.
It's
So that
interesting
was
because
fun.
before we jumped on, as we kind of always do with each other, we check in with each other. And the guidance that came through for you was this idea of death and birth. And you could connect to it straight away. But I don't think you're alone with that because, as you reminded me, we're in a 9 year. Of course, it's about death and birth. So, how are you feeling with that concept?
I mean, I'm pretty used to the death rebirth thing. The last few years have felt like it's just a constant
Mm.
death and rebirth. And I'm also on a personal year 9. So I'm in flow with the collective. And I do definitely feel that. I mean, I am calling in another soul, so a baby. And also just in terms of my business and who I am, and it's just more layers of the ego and old self that are stripping away. And yeah, I'm just becoming more of who I am at my core and at my truth. And I think it's just it takes a long time to strip those layers away. And it really I remember at the beginning of this journey when I was really going deep, I was like, okay, cool. I'll just have to do that, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do that, and then I'm good.
Mm.
It's like, no, that's not how it works. It's
Absolutely.
like there's so many initiations and different processes and situations that you move through to be able to really reveal more of yourself and shed those layers. And I work very deeply with the snake as an ally in the animal world. And it is about that being able to shed the skin with grace and allowing it to be as easeful as it can be. And in that, you are revealing more of this shinier self, which is your true self, your true light, your true essence, without all of the bullshit layers that have been put there over the years.
That's really interesting because obviously it also is the year of the snake. So you're having a
Yeah.
like
Yes, it is.
you're gonna need a nap in 2026, girl. But interesting with the snake and the archetype of the snake. And I don't know if you're seeing this with the people that you're working with, but I'm now on reflection, I think I'm definitely seeing it with people that I work with, that the transformations going forward are going to be a lot more quiet. And that's what the snake does. The snake isn't loud, it isn't boisterous, it moves almost in camouflage and unseen. And when it sheds, it's not this big celebration, it's just a natural evolving into the new embodiment in and alchemizing that in the way that it moves and hunts and survives.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the last 5 years has been so on show. Like people have, like, this is who I am now, and this is what I'm doing now. And I think that that's the big shift. So
Yeah.
people are doing it I think in a lot of ways more authentically now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's not the egoic, like, look at me, I have just become this person. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that graceful, yeah, 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 for sure. I love that. And also, like, the snake is belly to belly with the earth, and is really connected with the earth and the wisdom of the earth. I think that's beautiful as well, that connection with nature, with the elements, with ourselves, not needing to be that big song and dance, but it just is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
vibration, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it gets its cues from vibration. So are we
Yes.
are we viewing our external experiences differently now? And I know, like with the shift in direction of my work that you guys have heard about on this podcast or on social media, that shift to self-concept is the hugest portal through which we will do all that you are talking about here. The shedding of the skin, the evolving, and that's a quiet journey. It's not
Mm,
something that you then announce to the world. And by the way, I see myself as worthy now. And then the world reacts. So of course it won't react because if you need to say it, then you aren't it.
yeah,
And and so are we picking up on vibrational cues that, oh, this doesn't work for me. Oh, this is a layer I need to peel back.
mm-hmm.
And so when you say the curriculum of life is not linear and it's not planned out, that the only way I'm sure in hindsight I can see that I've known what to do next is because I've responded to the vibrational feedback of my life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This
Same.
presented,
Mm-hmm.
picked up on this wound of insecurity, or it's picked up on this wound of not being enough. Therein lies the opportunity to evolve
Yeah.
rather than thinking, right, I want to be this kind of person. And so to be that kind of person, I must do all these things. It's complete 180.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so much death in that.
Yeah.
But then the birthing comes. But don't you find it interesting that we also often don't know what it is we're birthing?
Yeah, it's the mystery.
Yeah.
The mystery of life, of the feminine, of yeah, it is very mysterious and mystical and magical all in one. So it's beautiful.
And the lesson to fear the unknown is such patriarchal BS.
Mm.
And actually there's joy in the unknown because in the unknown all the possibilities exist.
Yeah.
Whereas in the known, we've chosen possibilities that we think are attainable or that we hope are achievable. Whereas the magic of the unknown means everything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Like how whew, expansive does that feel?
One of my
Sit in
favorite,
that.
yeah, sitting that, right. One of my favorite quotes, and I try to remind myself often because, of course, you do feel the human emotions come up, the uncertainty, the fear. But one of my favorite quotes is when nothing is certain, everything is possible.
Mm.
I think that was Wayne Dyer. So you're going to be grappling with the possibilities this year in terms of it being a collective and personal 9 year of shedding the layers. Do you have any more layers to shed? Because I know you've just done a massive cleanse. You might not have any more layers to shed.
We always do. There's always more. But yeah, I have been cleansing my physical body, which we know it cleanses on every single level. But I just had this real desire coming into this year to get rid of the sludge, it felt like. Literally just stuff I'd been holding on to for years. And it's been the best thing ever to do this cleansing. And I've never done any like deep cleansing. I've done some liver cleanses along the way and some juice cleansing, but nothing as deep as this, where I'm working with a practitioner that's helping me eat to my constitution and just really is very much understanding of my body and is helping me learn more about my body and how I can eat and support it in the best possible way. So it's been great. I did a liver and gallbladder cleanse, and now I'm doing a heavy metal cleanse. So I've got I think another 10 days to go. Another 10 days. And I lost like 7 kilos, which I don't usually weigh myself, but I had weighed myself at my dad's house like months ago. So that was the only number that I had, you know, in my head. And then I found a pair of scales in our garage the other day. So I was like, I'm just gonna jump on. And then I was shocked. I was like, is this wrong? This can't be right. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And it feels like pure sludge fat that I have
Mm.
lost. So it feels really, really, really good to just cleared so much from my system so I can be more of a clear channel for my work and for my family and for everything I'm calling in. Like I needed to create the space, more space within me.
You and I are similar in so many ways. Like we even share the same rising sign, which
Yeah.
explains a lot. But I think one of the big ways that we're probably very similar, but it's expressed different ways, is your journey with your body being a huge divination tool for a lot of your lessons and a lot of your evolving, where mine has been the mind and self-concept. I mean, and
Mm,
that's not to say that my body hasn't been so important in mine and your self-concept hasn't been so important in yours. But for those of you, because you have been with the Light Path for a while now, people might forget your origin story and the relationship with your body and how important it is for this tool that it's used really, or it's put in front of you, or you've put it in front of yourself to have all your big moments of self-actualization and transformation.
mm. Yeah, 100%. Like coming from the fitness world, that's where, yeah, my shift in, well, my pivotal moment in life was shifting into the fitness world from the corporate world, which was 12 years ago or 13 years ago. 13 years ago.
Time flies.
I know, jeez. And yeah, I mean, physical body has always been a thing, and that's where I got into the very bad habit of overtraining, under eating, caffeinating far too much, completely ruining my um, hormones and adrenals and all of the things by fasting and
Mm,
doing everything, or working against my body rather than with it, is what I would say is what I was doing for many, many years. And then when I had my implants removed, that I had two lots of implants in my life and I had them for 10 years, a
mm,
big size E cup, juicy size E cup boobies, which were my identity for so long. And I got them removed. And that was the point of my life when mum fell sick with cancer. And I just looked at my health and was like, wait, am I really healthy or am I just thinking I'm healthy? So it took me on a big deep dive into what health means and what it really is. And that's when it's like, nah, these have to go. These have to get out of my body immediately. And
yeah.
then I started slowing down. It's when I started walking and doing Pilates and yoga and just tending to my body a little bit better than I had been, and understanding how to work with my cycle, understanding what my cycle was, and that I had four
Mm,
phases, and that my bleed was a time to slow down and reflect. And yeah, just each of these phases having so much gold in it that I'd missed, that I just hadn't been connected to for so many years.
mm,
So yeah, that was a really important part of my journey for sure, is connecting back with my body and my womb and my heart, and just being like, oh, hello, I'm now connected to my heart because I don't have these implants anymore, which I do feel was blocking my heart chakra. And intentionally, I think I did it intentionally because I was closing off and I wanted to stay within in not a pleasant way, like more of a like hiding way, but not hiding.
interesting. I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
But it makes
Yeah.
total sense, right?
Yeah, it does. And it's so interesting, as I was chatting to someone yesterday and she said, so you found like my partner now, Jordan, you fell in love after you had your implants removed. And I was like, yeah, like a few months after.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. And then moved to Byron, fell pregnant. Like it all just happened.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's a whole nother relationship with your body in terms
Yeah.
of,
Oh,
birthing your beautiful boy and what we go through with that and
yeah.
the recovery from that. Like it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And my body just went through so much because I had so much grief that
Mm,
I was holding so much grief and pain and heartache. And yeah, I found it really hard to shift weight after having Asha, and still trying to be super gentle with myself, like not pushing myself. I was one of those that didn't leave the house for 40 days. Like I wanted to
mm,
really make sure that I was doing all I could to support my body to heal the best way it could. So things, yeah, definitely took longer. And I mean, he's 3 now, and this is when I've done the
Yeah.
cleanses. It's taken a while for me to even get to this point of being ready, I guess, to shed more layers, to shed more of the the gunk. It literally, that's how that's what was coming out of me.
I was gonna say, like,
I've got pictures.
oh my
I've
God.
got day by day
What do you
evidence.
mean you've got
Wanted to see
pictures?
what was coming out. We just had to, yeah, check it out. Like,
Oh, stop it.
yeah. So it was cool. It was really cool. It's so satisfying when you're like, oh, that was in me. Now it's not. Look at me go. Yeah. Yeah.
Satisfy we have different definitions of satisfaction. That I can assure you. Are you kidding me? That's not
Uh,
satisfying. That's disgusting. I did actually, there's this girl in Newtown. I wonder if she's still there. But she, at the time that I used to see her, was the only one in Australia that had this process of like basically it's an enema. And hers was different in her training in America because it was like the gut was actually doing the work itself. It wasn't just like a flush out.
mm.
She used to tell me how like she loves watching stuff come out and she thinks it's so interesting. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you want to see it? No, no.
I don't want to see anyone else's. I just want to see
She
my
loved it.
own.
I reckon you guys would be good friends.
I don't want to see hers. It's fine.
That is so funny. But I like this concept of like making space. How important is that, right? And how many people do not do it? And they think it's like that surface level of like, oh, if I want a new guy, I'm gonna make sure that there's space in the wardrobe for his clothes. And I'm like, don't worry about his clothes, doll. You'll find a space for those. But where is the space in your heart? Where is the space in, holding your space? So
Yeah.
that he doesn't have to, like that kind of thing, like creating space, a lost art. I reckon it's a lost art or a
Yeah. But
misunderstood art.
yeah, totally. And even like finding space in your days,
Mm.
you need to find that space if you're calling anything in. You're not taking that time and space in stillness and in silence and those kind of things. It's, yeah, how can things land? How can they?
Mm.
They can't.
Yeah, totally.
There's
You'll just miss it.
no space.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just gonna miss
Yeah.
it all the time, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's been a learning for me and still is because I'm working with the concept of resting. When I rest, I receive.
Oh,
And
nice. Say that again.
when I rest, I receive.
Mm.
And
Nice.
it's in the stillness is when opportunities come. And when I've been sitting in tea ceremonies recently, actually, because I haven't been drinking cacao as much because I haven't been able to while I've been cleansing.
Ah,
And I have been working with that, just saying it as I'm sitting there in stillness for the hour. And literally every time I've walked out, there's been an email or a message or something, an opportunity, and not always aligned,
mm.
but it's like, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's like you ask, you put it out there, you put that intention, you set that prayer, and there you go.
Have
Evidence.
you been going to Cloud
Evidence.
Hidden? Is that where you've been going?
No, no,
Oh, another one.
no, I'm not going to that one. No,
Oh,
no. I think because it's not close to me. I
oh,
go,
okay, fair enough. I
I
was like, oh, why?
go,
I love it there. They're amazing.
I go to one in Mullum. I
Okay,
mean, it's
beautiful.
probably the same distance,
Yeah, but
but
people just have the places that they like to go and like
yeah.
places where they're at. It's very divine feminine energy as well, right?
Right? Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
so programmed to chase and exert. Whereas if we are actually balanced in our masculine and feminine, there is time to exert, but the exertion will only come in response to something that we've aligned with or magnetized towards us. So you're
Mm,
that perfect example of what you just said. I set the intention to create space to receive. I rest to receive. And then the offer comes, then you have to use your discernment to step into that masculine, to take action, to respond to the email, to say yes to the thing, to say no to the thing, or whatever it is. So
yeah.
it sounds to me like maybe just throwing it out there as an idea,
Yeah.
perhaps what's dying is imbalance.
Yes. I freaking love that.
We love it when the reader nails it in a way that doesn't feel confronting and overwhelming.
Because it's also, yeah, what I've been working with. But I mean, bringing my
Ah,
body back into harmony. That's what I'm doing. Like every day I sit with that, also that intention. My body is in harmony. I am in complete harmony. And that is, right? That's balance, harmony. It's like masculine and feminine, all my organs working in harmony, all my cells rejuvenating harmoniously. I love that. Mind and heart in
yeah.
harmony.
Because when if I just reflect, like, as an outsider looking in on your life, you were in massively in your masculine, but coming off like it was empowering feminism,
Yes.
which is dying. So, like, look at
Yes.
me, businesswoman, fit, in control. I can have big boobs if I want them, all of that stuff.
Yep. I
Then
love the voice that went with that.
was that accurate? That sounded exactly like you, didn't it?
That was, that was nailed it.
Wait for the next voice. Ready?
Yeah.
Then you went into your feminine.
Yeah. Feminine.
It's into your, like, I don't think you went too far into it, but the pendulum needed to swing
Yes.
to a certain depth of
I
that.
did nothing. I let everything go.
She did not, she sold everything, she moved
Yeah.
up, she was supported by the masculine in your life.
Yes. Yes.
And so you kind of went into complete and utter femininity in that the nothingness
Mm-hmm.
to then come back. And but I do want to give you a lot of credit in that, because when you were in that, you were very frustrated.
Yes.
What is my thing? What am I going to do? What is it? What is it? So you didn't sit idly back, but I think you had to swing that far to go, oh, actually, this is the call. This is where my heart longs to express. And now it's coming back into that center
Oh my gosh, I
of the
love
balance.
that. Thank you for my reading.
You're welcome. That will be, I'll send you an invoice.
No, that just, yeah, you absolutely nailed that. That actually makes so much sense. And this being the year nine, like it's like, okay, cool. This is the final. Yeah. Yeah.
So, what do you do when imbalance rears its head in the form of
Mm,
the uncontrollable, the uncertainty? Because I also said something to you. I'm not going to repeat what I said to you because it's super private, but I said something to you before we jumped on. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of seeing like maybe that aspect of your life could go. And you literally went, oh, yeah, might. And it's an
mm,
aspect of your life that most people would freak out over and go like, no, like I can't lose that portal of security.
mm.
But you were like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not being attached to an outcome, isn't it?
Hmm.
Of like, if, oh my gosh, if that happens, I mean, this is old version Cass.
Do your voice. Do the voice how I did it. Just kidding.
Oh my gosh, if this happens, it's the end of the world. This, blah, 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 and my mind goes and thinks
That
everything
that
out.
is literally how you can
And
I
that's how fast
I'm
it
gonna
goes. Gemini
okay, wait.
moon.
I'm gonna tell a personal story, and if you want to cut it out, we can cut it out, right? So
Okay.
if you're not hearing it, it's because Cass cut it out. That is literally how you used to be. Remember when you came and you just met your partner? And of
Yeah, at your
course, at the
house.
start of
Yeah.
relationships, right? They're really uncertain.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna lose it, you're probably gonna lose it at the start of a relationship. We all do
Yeah.
it. And you were like, oh, but what's going to happen? Do you think this is going to work out? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, can you just
Really?
chill out and do not air these concerns with him? Just chill out. And then literally, I just had this feeling one day. I'm like, she's aired these concerns with him. And I think I spoke to you like the next day. You're like, yeah, so I had a conversation with him. I was like, oh, I told you not to do that.
Because
You
the
remember
Gemini,
that?
yeah, I do remember it now. The Gemini moon in me is
Yes.
like, I have to speak things out. And I've
Yeah.
learnt this, but It doesn't mean I need to speak it out with the person necessarily. That doesn't need to hear it. I just need a sounding board.
It's
Yeah.
fine. He stayed.
And
The conversation went well, but I was just like, I told you not to do that.
yeah,
God,
yeah.
so that is how you
Oh,
used to be. But now I
yeah.
don't think you would do that.
Yeah, do you know, I catch myself in moments where I do like where I'm getting taken away and I have to come back and like ground myself, and whether I can do it myself or I need to get support to give me like a little tune up or something, because yeah, something's just out of balance and not, and I can't get myself back.
Yeah.
Most of the time I can just, sitting in stillness or going and doing a practice on my own, but you know, recruiting support if I need. But yeah, I do catch myself, and it's such an intense energy. And when I feel into my energy, what I was when I was living in Bondi to now, oh my gosh, polar opposite in terms of
Oh,
just
yeah.
that go, like that. Yeah, just the adrenals, like I can feel it in my body of how hectic it was, how hectic. And you don't even realize it because you're just in it and that's what you're
Yeah.
living, right? The two
Yeah.
black coffees before I've even started the day, the no food until midday, the hardcore training session, and I'm just like not grounded at all. Like, where's my body? Who knows? Where's my yeah. Um,
But just to reassure people that are listening, in that, like it had to get mad and crazy for you to get to the point to be like, actually, no.
yes.
And you weren't completely out of that when you did align with something that you is really precious to you, which is your relationship. So you can still align in that imbalance.
Mm.
You can still have stupid conversations and it go well, even when you're told not to. But like you can, it's not like you need to be in complete balance to then expand in your life. Not at all. But I think it comes back to that thing you were saying before about creating space. I think maybe that was the purposes you were at in terms of the pendulum swinging the other way. You're
Yeah.
ready to create space.
Yeah. Yeah.
This concept of balance, I think it's something that we're going to have to talk about again. So I'm going to put this out there to you guys listening. If you have any esoteric or energetic questions about balance, how to create balance, how to cultivate balance, but also how to identify imbalance.
Mm.
How do you know that you're not embodying balance in your energy? We know how we don't do it in time and stuff like that. But even if it is a question about timing, and even if it is a question about, well, how do I find balance in a busy day? I want you guys to shoot it to us because I think we can come back and have a conversation and together, Cass and I can answer your questions around balance because it is something that you're clearly alchemizing this year, like
Mm.
really embodying this year. And I don't think it's a stage in evolving that we none of us can get away with moments that you're going through now. And it'll be interesting to see, like to hear you, in a month or so about how this concept is alchemizing and the opportunities and maybe the things that it's giving you and taking away. So if you've got questions, please shoot them to us. You can email us at info@thelightpathcollective.com. You can shoot us a message on Instagram. I'll put up a question box on Instagram. I'll put up a couple. So if you have any questions around balance, we're going to come back and answer them for you.
Yes.
Well, like you're our guinea pig. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Biggest dream for yourself this year of alchemizing and closing of chapters being a 9 year. What's your biggest dream?
Pregnancy, a healthy pregnancy, full term birth of my beautiful daughter
Mm.
safely. would be great, but that's going to happen pretty quickly if we're going to squeeze it into this year.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I guess we're going through to the end of the year,
Yeah.
to Chinese New Year. So I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we can do that.
We can do that. Well, we are
Yeah,
sending that. And I
thank
know
you.
Cass would appreciate your vibes sending that. And as we set that intention, we are definitely also setting the intention to block anything that doesn't align with that being sent your way.
Thank you.
But so nice to catch up. I can't wait to talk more about balance with you. Stay tuned.
Yeah, thank you for nailing that.